It was actually pretty amazing. So that first mentor, who was my coach, Patrick Wetland, took me under his wing, saw that I had talent, but I didn't know what work ethic was. I was competitive, but didn't know how to channel it.
You weren't
I
disciplined.
had anger and rage, but didn't know how to use it in a positive perspective or direction. So this was his job, was to mold these younger kids to one day grow up to be great athletes. And then I just fell in love with the sport. And then literally 6.5, 7 months later, I tried out for the U.S. World Team trials, which is all age groups, and I ended up winning it.
6 months later.
Yeah, which I came out of nowhere. People were
Crazy.
just like, who the hell is this kid? Fast forward a year later is the 1998 Olympic trials. Didn't make that team. Got dead last. The reason why is I went back home after I made my first team and hung out with the same friends, partied, and
didn't train.
Didn't
focus.
Zero focus. Didn't know that the off season was really the kind of the preseason.
Yeah.
And harsh lesson. Just gave up. And then so my father.
And you're 16.
I was 15.
Wow.
Takes me back to Seattle. He's furious because he just, my dad is a guy who he really believes in like hard work, right? He really believes in kind of dedicating yourself towards something regardless of the outcome. Because if you don't, then you're leaving yourself open to the possibility of saying, I wish I could have, I would have.
Yeah.
He hates that. And he really instilled that within me, but I obviously didn't show that because there was a lack of passion.
Well, you're also 15.
15. But I grew up early.
Lack of awareness. That's true.
Lack of so many things.
Yeah. I mean,
so many things.
I still lack days at 34, right? Yeah.
A lot.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm still 15 in a 34-year-old body. But so my father drives me about 3.5 hours, southwest of Seattle to this area called Copalis Beach. And there's a resort there called the Iron Springs Resort, which is not a resort, by the way. It's been renovated, but at the time it was like just cabins, right?
Yeah.
Nothing in there. And he drops me off. He says, you're going to find out what you're going to do with your life, and you're going to call me when you figure it out. And he gave me food, and like I had clothes. I'm 15 years old, man. Like, I don't know if I could do that. Like, if I, when I have kids, I don't know if I could do that.
Wow.
But
so you're at a campground. There's no other people there. You're by yourself here.
This is a place they send people to when they're part of like the witness protection program.
Wow.
Like, this place is desolate. There's nothing there, man. Yeah, there's like I can buy fireworks. That's about it.
Wow.
This is
so
like
you're on your own. You're living by yourself.
It's beautiful, this place, but there's no one there, and it's raining every single day, all day.
So what do you do?
I just started working out. I started running.
By yourself? There was no other people there? Or what?
I had a moment at the age of 15 where I was going through like a midlife crisis.
This is like your peaceful warrior moment.
Yeah, no,
Have
seriously.
you seen the movie Peaceful Warrior or read the book?
Yeah, read the book, yeah.
Yeah, Dan Millman.
Yeah, great book. Great book.
This is like your moment where you're like the cocky guy.
It was. It's identical.
Wow.
And so, you have this 15-year-old kid who had all the talent in the world. I could have made that team in 98.
You could have.
If I just trained for a month properly.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Top
Looking
6,
back. I could have gotten third, at least third, for sure.
But you didn't care.
Didn't care. Thought that it wasn't important. Didn't understand the importance of
going to the Olympics.
I didn't understand it. I didn't understand.
Wow.
I just didn't.
It wasn't like a
it.
dream of yours, or
it was, but obviously not.
Mm-hmm.
Until I lost, and I felt that kind of pain of, man, I could have done something better. I could have been. And then I tried to just kind of find myself in this period of time where I was just trying to training, and I called my dad about 5 or 6 days into this mindless training program that I set up for myself, and said I made a decision. I want to try speed skating one more time. I didn't tell him actually. I just said I made a decision. He came pick me up, and then I kind of
made a decision what you want to do with your life.
Yeah. And he was like, look, either you're going to go back to school, really, really study, or you're going to pursue the Olympic Games and try to become an Olympic athlete. And I said, I think I can do it. And I decided to do that. So I then really dedicated myself back and towards the Olympic movement. And
16 now.
I fell in love with the sport. So when I came back home the second time, I didn't call any of my friends. I set up a little stationary bike in my basement and a small, like little 7-inch Sony Triniton TV. I always remember it's white. And I set up like a little player, and I just watched skating tapes while I was biking every single day. And I went to school and studied, and it was very non-scientific. But I basically just busted my ass, and I became completely obsessed with the sport. Obsessed. And I understood every single athlete who was competitive. I knew their strengths. I knew their weaknesses. I knew why they won. I knew why they lost. I knew everything about the sport. And I showed up into the next training program 6 months later, and I was trim. I was fit. I was way stronger than everybody else. Super hungry.
Focused.
Super focused. And I was also just, I was growing. So I started to get really, really strong. And then I started to win. And I just started to win. And then once I got my first taste of international victory, I was just like more. This like monster that couldn't be stopped, And then my career, kind of started.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
I love this stuff.
Yeah.